I'm here at day 50, feeling about as good as I've felt in my body and mind for years, and it took 5 small changes. But this is not a weight loss video, and it's also not a look how much muscle I've gained. There's food, but there's no calorie counting, and I'm only going to be weighing myself at the start and the end to prove a point. This is a different kind of video.
Story time. Now this all came at the end of the last school year because like many of us, I've got a busy life and it was showing. I was reaching burnout by June 2024. In the past year, I'd been working 50 to 60 hour weeks, training for New York Marathon, then 2 50-kilometer ultra marathons, then Boston Marathon, and then every evening working on the YouTube channel. All that really meant that I was chronically fatigued, I was making poor decisions, and basically in a downward training spiral. And it all came to a head at Boston. A massive underperformance, having only just made it in one piece of the start line. And after the race, I could barely do anything for 10 weeks. My body was still just able to train a bit, but my mind was shot. And you know what? My body wasn't looking like I wanted or doing what I wanted to do. I was in pain daily. Essentially, I'd lost the love and I wanted it back. I was gonna get it back.
So the plan was actually simple. I had 7 weeks, 50 days pretty much, to turn this ship around. And I knew that my love of exercise and running is intertwined with these 3 things. How strong I feel, how good my body feels, and how good my running feels, how much joy. And to get myself to that place, these are the 5 changes I'm making. 1, I'm gonna learn about my specific weaknesses, I'm gonna strengthen them. 2, I am gonna be more mobile and flexible. 3, I'm gonna be more disciplined, make better decisions about my food. 4, I'm gonna invest more in my overall strength. And 5, I'm just gonna make sure I exercise consistently, a little bit more than I was doing. But I will warn you, I didn't actually feel any change till about day 25. I had a massive potential setback day 35. I didn't see any changes until day 40. But I had to start somewhere. I'm really tired of this. And I've got 7 weeks to do something about it. So week 1, before I knew my specific weaknesses, which we'll get to, it was time to deal with the easy stuff. I'd dropped on consistency with running, maybe 2 or 3 runs a week, back up to 4, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and find nice places to run. I created something that I call the 300, which was 300 press-ups, 300 Russian twists, 300 bicycle crunch things that you do every single day, and also Vlad mobility, so I was doing a kind of mobility prolonged stretch every single day as well. These are the generic things that I could control right then. Then I was looking at cleaning up my diet. That was gonna be tougher because I make bad choices when I'm on holidays. 2 courses of a breakfast if I'm staying in hotels, pancakes, the works. And needed to really think about being more intentional and mindful with my food choices. So for the first few days, that's absolutely what I did, until I could start finding out what my actual weaknesses were. And this is where it actually got exciting for me, because I need to know what's going on. I've been running with pain in my legs, particularly in my Achilles, for like 2 years, and it had to stop. I'm like getting out of bed thinking, at 44, this cannot be life ahead. Like, I'm 44! So, we booked some testing. First of all, we went to just check our quads to hamstring ratios. Is there any imbalance there? Yes. Then we flew to the UK, and we had 10 days in the UK, and I was still committed, even on every day, to making this 300 happen. Back to the UK we go. Say goodbye to these. The aim is to keep this up, even through the airport, even through the travelling home, like just to get it done. So I'm even breaking it up in the airport. I'm getting it done wherever I can think of. Because when we got to the UK, we'd booked a 3D run analysis and I'd booked physiotherapy. So my thinking was that to run pain-free, I needed to know what actually, when you work it all the way back, was causing the pain. So I had all of these tests done, and what we found really was a mixture of weak hamstrings, weak soleus muscles, instability in the pelvic girdle. So I've got a bunch of exercises that I needed to add in so that I could now do on top of the 300 that I was doing and the mobility that I was doing, on top of the running consistently still. So days 10 to 20 I kind of remember more as a faith in the process type of feeling, because although we were running consistently, Chicago Marathon's quite a powerful motivator, I didn't really feel a huge difference. Still in discomfort whilst running.
But this block has just been trying to get our legs into the shape where we can absorb a bit more volume. I think Mary's in a better place than me. I'm still getting quite a lot of pain in my Achilles.
But I suppose crucially there was no setbacks, and it's always like this with my running, is I kind of know at some stage there's going to be a click where it's all going to come together. It's just not yet, so I'm having to just plug away, doing the strength and conditioning and making it mean something, feeling purposeful because I had a plan from the 3D run analysis and seeing the physio, making the right food decisions, which was actually quite easy because Mary's family are pretty healthy, so we ate healthily in, and even when we went out I was making the right choices. So it was just kind of ploughing on really, and I guess I think I felt a bit of a difference around day 19, 20. It kind of coincided when we got back to Thailand.
That's right, baby, we're back in Thailand, which means threshold sessions on a track. Okay, this is repeat 3.
So it was day 20, and what I noticed was, although I was still in reasonable discomfort whilst I was doing that track session, the day after I recovered more quickly. There was kind of no setbacks, and I was still really doubling down on the mobility workouts every morning, and I'm starting to feel a little bit more mobile, a little bit more flexible, but that I was recovering more quickly. So it was time to introduce the weights, because in the UK I didn't have access to a gym easily. Here I have one at school, so I'm getting in there, I'm starting to lift heavier weights. And this was the part that had been missing until now, so day 20 really. So then it got to day 24, and again we were off. We flew to Phuket for about 5 nights of a bit of a holiday after our trip to the UK, and it was here, I can really pinpoint it, around day 24, 25, when my running really started to feel better and the pain started to dissipate, which was the first time in a year and a half. Pretty much smack bang in the middle of the 50 days now, 25 days in, well, 3.5 weeks anyway,
yeah,
of the holidays. Here are the things I'm noticing. I'm not 100% noticing a massive body change yet, but I'm noticing what I feel like I feel stronger, my core feels more solid. I think the aches and pains in my legs are dying down.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping the biggest gains are going to come in the second half of this, just by being consistent.
Yeah.
But that's where we're at right now, and it's not a hard life at the moment working out on holiday with these kind of views, right? Look at that. Not bad, eh? So it was day 25, I would say, day 25 until day 28 when we were in Phuket, that I started to be again really intentional about my food choices, because I was aware I was in a hotel and it would be very easy to have huge breakfasts and lavish dinners. So intentional, and then, you know, it's very much like the compounding effect, I find. You know, when you invest a little bit of money over time, there is a moment where it starts to really accumulate and you really start to feel it. And that was what was happening with my fitness. Everything just became that little bit easier. I felt stronger. Everything just felt more joyful. It felt like it was all coming together in those few days. And then it was back home. For days 29 to 32, it was just small additions, gym routine, making sure I was getting it done at home, enjoying the running. It was all really starting to feel better, but there was one major potential roadblock on the horizon, and that happened when we travelled to Koh Phangan for our final little getaway of the summer holidays. Oh, Koh Phangan. I love that island, but this is where it got tricky, because I was still making great food choices. I stand by that. I was very proud of that.
Disappointed in myself.
Obviously, I'm not perfect. I'm gonna have ice creams. I'm on holiday. I'm not a monster. But my body was feeling better. That's the main thing I take away from this part of the 50 days, is it really was feeling better. I was feeling stronger. There was no pain in my running. I wasn't necessarily seeing it in the mirror that my body was looking better, but I've always said, instrument over ornament anyway. The exercises I was doing just felt easier. The mobility work just felt easier to stay in and just joyful. Honestly, 98% of that whole holiday was absolutely wonderful. The running was beautiful. It really took the joy up to the next level. But then on the last day, this is actually an artist's impression because I obviously didn't actually take the camera into the shower to film this bit, but straight after the 300, straight after those Russian twists, I knew something didn't feel right, and I just got into the shower weirdly and my back went. And it went, and I panicked straight away. I know what it feels like when it goes, and I thought I was done. I thought that was the running done. But I rested for a day, and then... Alright, well, we're 5 weeks in, and I had a bit of a scare a couple of days ago. I tweaked my back getting into the shower, would you believe? And I thought this was it, game over, training over. But I think because of the mobility and the strengthening work I've been doing, that I recovered from it way quicker than I ever would have done. So even that's another bonus, which leaves me 2 weeks to really kind of drop the hammer, I guess. So this is why I'm in here in the gym, getting the strength work on, the proper heavier stuff. But here's where I think it gets super exciting for me, because whereas maybe a back problem like that would have set me back for weeks in the past, certainly would years ago, I pretty much recovered in about 2 days, and I genuinely believe it was down to the mobility, the strength work, everything that I'd been doing led me to that point, almost like a test. And yes, I tweaked my back, yes, I decided that maybe the 300 needs to just be 100 less twisting. But I was able to run again, and I was able to train again. Home straight now. Day 38 to about 48, I was really finding my stride. And day 40 was the first day that I saw a difference in my body. Like, I really felt it and saw it. And it took a while. Super happy though. And that just gave me that extra last impetus, this push to move on and make sure that my diet choices were right. Mary had gone back to work, so I just got to be at home and dial in that consistency. The runs were happening. I was doing interval sessions on Tuesday, running Thursday, then Saturday and Sunday. Consistency was back. I was super happy. And then the Olympics were on. So in the morning I'd get up all inspired, then I would do mobility watching the Olympic highlights, and then later on I'd do strength work, sometimes in the gym, sometimes at home, but again watching the Olympics. And it was just like 10-minute parts of my day, but it was just happening regularly, and I was really feeling the benefit. Obviously I had some ice cream still, like I'm not mad. You have to enjoy a little bit as well, right? But I generally made just decent choices, like see more intentional choices, chicken breasts. This is actually cauliflower risotto, which is quite nice. Sweet potato, yeah. Intentional choices. And the momentum was really building. It felt like I was really building to a crescendo through the days, all the way up to day 48. There was just this purpose and momentum getting me right to where I wanted to be. Day 49. Day 49, time for the big reveal. I've actually borrowed these scales from our neighbours because we don't own scales at home. When I started this, I was 63 kilograms, and now, 1.5 kilograms heavier, leaner, stronger. And here I am on day 50. Summary, pain-free, leaner, actually way more happier. All because I made those 5 small changes and fitted them into my day. And if you want some pretty cool metrics that I got from the Ultra Human Ring throughout this, then they're there. My resting heart rate has come down, my sleep has gone up, and my heart rate generally has come down. I'm not going back. I'm 100% not going back to the old me. This is me now. And it was only tweaks. That's why I know you can do it too. And if you like this video, consider subscribing, but I think you're definitely gonna like this video, which was when Mary and I ran 10 kilometers every day for 30 days with interesting results. See you Sunday.